So you've decided to stargaze, you're getting into what's arguably the most costly mechanic in the game, you better know what you're doing. I talked to many pros to sort out the optimal order just for you, so if you want a quick list you can check out the description below, but if you want the breakdown, let's get to it. Brief explanation of this list: some heroes perform very differently in different modes. To approach this, I star rated heroes on their PvE and PvP performance based on the community tier list as fetched by Passseeker. If you haven't seen it and you're curious about endgame hero performance by that, I'll also link it below, and in case of a tie, the tiebreaker will be PvE. Most players have asked prefer investing in it. Lastly, if you're just starting to stargaze, that process is significantly slower than what you used to. It's still worth it though. The short-term sacrifice is going to pay off great in the endgame. Note this is done from the perspective of a player that's just starting to stargaze, so some heroes that are very good very late game might underperform in this specific list if you've not acquired them up to order. So without further ado, let's start with Mezoth. Scoring respectable 3.5 in PvE and 4 in PvP, Mezoth is a great Hypogean. He's incredibly tanky, perhaps one of the tankiest heroes in the game, and his lockdown allows him to counter very strong comps like the godcomp. The reason he's down is that in the campaign he's highly substitutable and he requires a very wide set of invested heroes to work well in PvP. Second, we have Khazard. 4.5 in PvE and 3.5 in PvP is a Hypogean carry. Many people underestimate the value of being an Hypogean alone, and then Khazard's damage is incredible. His CC arguably the best in the game. Now looking at all these amazing stats and what's arguably the best kit in the game, you might be asking me, Linker, why is he on the 9th place? And the issue with him is first his fragility, making him risky in PvP, and second how some mages may substitute for his campaign sets pretty well. Next up, we have the new hero Lucretia, a recently introduced Hypogean carry that can go all by her own with 4.5 PvE stars and 3.5 PvP stars. Right now I advise for newer players to go for other picks before they go for her, because we're not completely sure where exactly she fits, and her cheese, while being nice, is still on a 3rd to 4th set basis. Next, right up, her counterpart Zafriel, scoring 4 in PvE, 4.5 in PvP. I've covered Zafriel on this channel before. His scalings are incredible. He's a great carry with utility in his disruption. His PvP is little known and incredibly prominent. We see it a lot in this upcoming LC, where he has flex value between burst sets, Scrag tank sets, and much more. Now onto the top 5, we have Zolrath. I love Zolrath. His PvP value is very hard to contest, especially his 3 out of 9 furniture, destroying everything instantly. It's working with common heroes like Aaron, like a Gwyneth, allowing newer players to give a run in PvP. In the campaign, he's also a great tool, but he's less consistent than other heroes here, and he's pretty complicated to use, especially if you don't have many burst heroes or if you aren't familiar with his tech like defense reduction. Orthos is gonna score 4 in PvE and 4.5 in PvP. Even accounting for my personal balance, you can't deny Orthos is one of the best heroes in the game, especially with his SI and furniture invested. Once invested, he completely disables certain compositions, and his unique obtained tankiness to the fight makes him great with heroes like Talene and Flora that are very strong in tank meta right now. Next top 4 are gonna be hot picks, but I'm gonna explain them. We're gonna start with Mehira. Now hold on here. Mehira is gonna rank 5 in PvE and 3.5 in PvP. All of these top 4 are gonna be the godcomp, which is the best single composition in the game for PvE progression, which is why I advise to stargaze for them first on this channel. Now I want to talk about Mehira a little bit. While she may be substituted by the likes of Tassie, some F2P players who have a lot of time between their gazes and a lot of time free on their hands, showing she might be worthy of a higher slot, maybe number 2 or even 1. The reason for that is if you have stall-oriented arsenal in heroes like Tassie, Rowan, and Wukong, she can fit in many different comps, and her scaling against high-level enemies is arguably better than even the next spots on this list. Sadly, her PvP game not too strong, so she finds herself 4th on this one. Moving on to more general advice, they're able to fit into most sets, have unique interactions with enemies like Nora, they can even sometimes frontline. I would consider getting them at E+ before even the next spots on this list due to their buff value in places like Abyssal and Twisted Realm. The only reason they aren't higher on this list is how they can't be the center of a given comp. They don't work on their own, and they need at least one other high-end hero to really do their magic. magic. Next one is going to be special. Now hear me out on this. Second slot is going to go to Ezizh. 5 in PvE, 4.5 in PvP. Listen to me. I know you can obtain him with challenger coins. I'm not saying everybody should gaze Ezizh, but many people acquire him as they get the god comp via challenger coins, which I think is something that more people should consider. Challenger coins are something that you do in the long run. Red chest, Flora that you can just get almost indefinitely. So gazing for a Flora and a half, if you will, or a bunch of red chests is completely viable, especially when it allows you to acquire such a strong hero early. I'm reminding those who don't have him, he's an absolute beast, and if you have the god comp, I'd consider gazing him. Lastly, Talene, ranked 5 and 5. Now this is just setting the record straight. As I've mentioned in the past, there's some picks like Mehira that contend for this spot, but the way I see things, the consensus is that Talene is the best. She has such an incredible flex value. She's your general first priority. She can support with little to no investment, even at low value, and she's even able to carry if solo invested, making her a centerpiece of the meta as it is now across many different comps. Get Talene first, not just for PvP, PvE too. You just want her to be able to carry you through, even if you don't have the complete god comp. Just put her with Rowan and you'll see that your sets are getting much stronger. But even the strongest can be replaced. Guys, I've came up to this with a bunch of pro players, but this is obviously just an opinion, so everybody's can vary. Let me know if you think differently down below. Let me also know what you think of this format. I hope this helped you a lot, and I've been Linker. Peace.